How doing, guys? SmartEntity here. Today we're going to talk about the perfect starter Warframe, and that is Nezha. Now, to be honest, I have no idea how to pronounce this Warframe, so for the time being, we're gonna pronounce the H and call it Nezha. Now, to build quickly, we got Closer Projection for armor reduction, Prime Flow for max energy capacity, Redirection Vitality for survival, Streamline for energy efficiency, Intensify power strength, Prime Continuity duration, Stretch for range. Now, for the purpose of this demonstration, we are going to go into a T3 mobile defense. Now, for those of you that are unaware, the Nezha Warframe is obtained via daily sortie missions, so you have a chance of getting either the chassis / helmet / system / about 20 other rewards per daily sortie run. So if you're going to collect this by yourself, it could take a while. Now, as the Warframe is tradable, it is pretty cheap these days, going at around 60 platinum for the entire set. So not too bad, and you can easily get that from selling prime parts. But prices pretty well decrease as time goes by. Now, Nezha's first ability is Firework. It basically increases your traveling speed by a very small amount, as well as creating a line of fire behind you. Now this fire do damage enemies. The damage that it does is pretty minimal, and the increase in speed is pretty minimal. It's definitely no match compared to Volt's speed. Now Nezha's second ability, just activating an energy resource so we can keep it up. Now Nezha's second ability is Blazing Chakram. Now this particular ability, again, does pretty low damage to the enemies that it hits. We're in a T3 mob defense. Now there's a reason I went into T3, just to show the amount of damage it does. Even with a max intensify, it's pretty low. In a T1 mob defense or T1 mission, you can pretty kill enemies with this. But in T3, T4, it's too low to even be worth using for damage. Its real use here is actually traveling utility. So if you press 2 and you don't do anything, it comes back to you. If you press 2, and while the chakram is in air, you press 2 again, you actually travel to its location. And I found myself using this power mainly for its traveling utility. Now Nezha's third ability is Warding Halo. Now this ability works a bit like Rhino's Iron Skin, where it does have a 3-second invulnerability phase, and it pretty much absorbs damage until it goes out. In addition, it does damage enemies a bit while it is in contact with enemies. But the amount of damage it does is pretty low, so it's not really worth using for that purpose. And as far as blocking damage goes, it is inferior to Iron Skin. So another subpar ability. Now Nezha's final ability is called Divine Spears, and the way it works is it basically shoots out several hollow spears that pretty much impels enemies or holds them in place, incapacitate them, as you can see, while giving you time to kill it. Now, as far as its crowd control ability goes, it's not great, right? The duration is not great. I mean, I'm using a maxed prime continuity, and I'm not using fleeting expertise, and even then, the duration is not too impressive. In fact, we'll actually have a look here. In real gameplay, you probably do want to use a maxed, one from top fleet expertise, just to make all the powers a bit more useful. But without it, not great. I mean, there's just so many other abilities that you can use to incapacitate enemies other than Divine Spears. So we're gonna activate that Firework again. Now, just to explain the build quickly, so obviously we're going to use Vitality and Redirection for that survivability. I've put Intensify, Stretch, Prime Continuity, Prime Flow on there, because they all add a bit of benefit without any harm, like the crab moss does. Now, it's debatable whether you want to use a one from top Streamline, one from top Fleet Expertise, or not. Fleet Expertise obviously do harm Divine Spears as well as Firework, which are probably two of the, I guess, more commonly used abilities in this. There's pretty much no other crab moss that I would even consider using. I mean, Narrow-Minded pretty much destroys any and all abilities. It increases duration of Divine Spears, but it's gonna make your range so minuscule it's not even worth casting. As far as your blind rate or transient fortitude goes, I mean, you don't really want to harm efficiency anymore, and you don't really want to harm duration anymore. So this Warframe does depend on a bit of everything. So that's why I chose the build I went with, and it seemed to work out pretty well. Now, just to explain why I call this a beginner frame, and the reason I said it is because this Warframe can do a bit of everything. It isn't great at anything. So firework is, increased speed. It does damage. Damage not worth mentioning. The speed is more mediocre compared to Volt speed. As far as the second ability goes, it does add a bit of traveling utility, but I mean, compared to some other second abilities, yeah, Shield Polarized is really not that great. The third ability, I mean, it's a worse version of Iron Skin. And as far as Impale goes, I mean, well, as far as Divine Spear go, I suppose, there's just other stuff that you can use for crowd control, namely Snow Globe, Vortex, anything like that. It's just much more reliable and much better. So all of Nezha's abilities have, strictly speaking, better versions, right? Better versions for high-level gameplay. But because it can do a bit of everything, i.e. it can have a bit of a instant teleportation, a bit faster traveling, slight damage reduction, as well as a bit of crowd control, it can do a bit of everything, and that's why I'm calling this a starter Warframe, because it can do a bit of everything, but it can't do anything too good. And this is the kind of Warframe that I kind of feel beginner players should use, and the kind of Warframe that people should start to learn from, because it gives you an idea of Warframe potential and things that you can generally do with Warframes. Now obviously I haven't put any format in this. I wouldn't really recommend it, namely because I don't think anyone will be using this Warframe in any kind of high level gameplay. This is definitely for us, I guess, rank 21 mastery players, something just for mastery. It's not something that you ever want to, put several formats on, do a specialized build, put those crap mods on. It's just not worth it, because you're not going to be able to use any of these utilities, and any increase in duration, power strength, or even efficiency in this particular case isn't going to make this Warframe, spectacular or much better. Alrighty guys, that's pretty much all I want to say about the Nezha Warframe. I am planning to run a few other Warframe, not specialized builds, but just general Warframe introductions that I kind of feel fit into the new player experience or beginner Warframe picture quite nicely. Alright guys, please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.